What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Frank and Gordon Show, where we discuss life skills on how to help you become more confident, more credible, and activated in whatever you do.
In this video, we're going to continue discussing the powerful skill of persuasion. This is an exciting topic that is perhaps the single greatest skill that will give you a competitive edge. Now, if it's your first time here and you want to follow us for more tips on how you can further develop yourself, you know the drill.
That's right, guys. Make sure to hit the subscribe button along with the bell, and don't forget to give this video the thumbs up. Also, feel free to leave a comment in the section below, and don't forget to check out our website at www.frankandgordon.com. Okay, guys, as we mentioned in the first episode of this series of Persuasion, whichever way you look at it, persuasion skills are an indispensable tool that you must acquire and perfect to move forward, be a success in any field, and reach your full potential.
Now, the first pillar of persuasion, which we discussed in the first episode in this series, has to do with the words we use. If we're going to sell ideas or if we're going to sell a product, we must use words to reason in a clear and concise way, in a logical way. We could use stories, we could use facts and figures to support our arguments, to logically move someone from point A to point B.
The second pillar of persuasion that we discuss in episode 2 in this series is credibility. In short, this refers to character, competence, reputation, and so on. The stronger your credibility, the stronger your argument.
Now, in today's episode, we'll discuss the important third pillar of persuasion, which refers to the emotions that one communicates through the words that they use. It more so refers to appealing to the other person's emotions.
So one of the three key pillars we'll be discussing is to appeal and stir up emotions of the other person. It's an essential element to persuade successfully. Persuasion cannot occur in the absence of emotion. People are moved to action by how you make them feel.
In other words, Gordon, the key here is to closely understand the other person's feelings, their ideas and aspirations.
And that's done by listening with your heart and not only with your head. It's got to do with empathy. So the big question here, Frank, is why are emotions so important in persuasion?
Logic is sometimes not enough to fully persuade others. Logic might somewhat lead the other person, but it might not always be enough to seal the deal. That's the point. So, tapping into the other person's emotions, now listen to this. Tapping into the other person's emotions is an extremely powerful part of the equation that maximizes effectiveness of conclusively persuading someone. It maximizes effectiveness and is generally a fast way to persuade.
So what we're saying is when we appeal to people's emotions, they're likely to take a quick decision and then rationalize that decision using logic after the decision is taken. Isn't that right, Frank?
That's exactly right.
Now the question is, why is that?
The reason for this is that people buy feelings. We are emotional beings. We can move people by the way we make them feel about something, by the way we make them feel about products or a subject that we're discussing. People are persuaded by the way we make them feel, and we do that by basing our arguments on emotions.
Okay, so what are some examples of emotional needs? In other words, let's discuss how one can persuade someone else by using emotional appeal.
Well, there are a number of emotions that one could tap into to lead and persuade. But as you say, let's discuss a few of them to make our point. We can take fear, for example. Fear makes people feel insecure, and people want to feel secure. They want security. They want to avoid pain at all costs. And as much as possible, people actually want to experience pleasure. So let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say I was selling security alarms. I would probably emphasize how insecure and vulnerable your property is. I would emphasize that your property is unsafe. I would personally touch upon possible weaknesses in your property, in your security system, if you even have one. And I would demonstrate how easy it would be for people to break in, perhaps. And by doing that, I would be sowing seeds of fear. Or at least I'd give you a sense of feeling unsafe. And touching upon that, pressing that button, touching on the emotion of fear will likely allow me, as a security alarm salesman, to persuade you very quickly on purchasing a new security system, because people want to feel safe. You would want to feel safe. So the moment you inject fear into the other person, the easier it will be to persuade on your solution.
So this is similar to the emotion of doubt as well. If you want to change someone's line of thinking and bring them over to your side, inject a strong dose of doubt, communicated with confidence, and boom, you've won them over to your side. So what about surprise? People desire variety in their life. They don't like boredom. Everyone likes how they feel when given a surprise. So if you appeal to someone's sense of surprise, you quickly grab the attention, and if you tell them that you have a surprise waiting for them, you will very often be able to use that as a carrot, a bait, to lead them, because everyone loves a surprise.
That's exactly right. So if you buy your wife a bunch of flowers, for example, you instantly get a get out of jail free card. That surprise gets the other person to suddenly allow you to take control and persuade. Now again, one has to be very careful not to tap into people's emotions to manipulate, because what we're doing here is we're tapping into people's emotions. So you've got to be careful not to tap into them to manipulate, but to always ensure that any persuasion tactic that is used to lead the other person to the best possible outcome for them.
That's very, very
That's
important.
got to be the motivation. But another emotion that one could tap into is attention. People love attention. People need to feel significant. They need to feel special and important. Everyone needs this. So the moment you press this emotional hot button, the moment you make someone feel significant, the moment you make them feel important and special, they will generally respond in a disproportionate way, and you'll have them eating out of the palm of your hand.
So what's happening here is basically we're saying that we're appealing to people's vanity, right?
That's exactly what I mean.
Now,
Yes.
appealing to this particular emotion is very powerful when it comes to persuasion. It makes you a leader. It helps you easily move someone from point A to point B.
The thing is that when you tap into a combination of emotions, not just one emotion, but when you tap into a combination of emotions, you start to tap into a very powerful persuasive force. But again, we need to emphasize that these are very powerful drivers of behavior that need to be used with caution.
As a credible and professional individual, one must use these drivers without any intent of manipulating others, but with the intent of persuading them with something that's in their best interest.
So what we've done so far in this series of persuasion is we've essentially outlined 3 pillars of persuasion which the Greek philosopher Aristotle determined around 2,000 years ago.
That's right. Aristotle had determined that to persuade someone successfully, one would need to first of all formulate his words effectively using logic and reason, and secondly, ensure credibility to be easily believed.
Exactly. And with those 2 pillars firmly grounded, you then use the 3rd pillar by tapping into the other person's emotions. And Aristotle's formula is still valid today, 2,000 years on, still valid. You use those 3 elements in conjunction with each other, and you have a foolproof system to effectively appeal to others and successfully move them from point A to point B.
This is a foolproof system for persuasion, guys.
Now, to work on improving and developing persuasion skills, one should step back and ask themselves a set of questions. For example, do I present my arguments logically?
Am I a credible authority in my field? Or how can I increase my credibility?
Do I present in a clear, factual way?
Am I easy to understand?
Do I project emotion?
Am I excited when I speak?
Do I convey enthusiasm?
Do I connect emotionally with the other person?
Do I show empathy by being responsive to others and their needs?
And do I show genuine interest in the other person?
So what we've got to understand here is once these 3 pillars are applied, words, credibility, and emotion, once these 3 pillars are applied effectively, one will be amazed at the great strides forward they will make in persuading others.
Okay guys, just to wrap things up, don't forget to apply the 3 pillars of persuasion: the words you use, your credibility, and tapping into the emotions of the people you're trying to persuade. Well, that's all we got for you guys this time. We thank you all for watching and for following us on our social media pages.
And with that said, we'll see you all next week.
week.